20 is purporting to amend the Constitution, and that cannot be done. And I'm saying if you don't file, if a person breaches the law here and they don't file, there are sanctions that are laid out here. The person can be convicted, he can be fined, he can be imprisoned, and then after, if he's in prison, then the Constitution will kick into effect, and then you'll have to vacate your seat in the House. But you cannot pass legislation to say, I must vacate my seat. And you know I'm right. Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. I move on, Madam Speaker. We look under the Code of Conduct. It says to vacate your seat. And if we look at the section in the Constitution that I told you, Section 41 says, every member of the House shall vacate his seat. It doesn't say resign, it said vacate. And these are the only conditions that you can vacate your seat. Madam Speaker, if we move on Section 22, subsection 3, it says a person who makes a complaint under this section shall not be liable in civil or criminal proceedings unless it is proved that the complaint was not made in good faith. And it goes on to say that if the complaint is frivolous or vexatious, that the Commission can throw it out, or if it is not a matter that pertains to the Commission and they are empowered not to deal with it, they can throw it out. But I'm saying here, Madam Speaker, that in addition to that, you need to add some kind of penalty. If a person, mischievous person, concocts some malicious, baseless lie for political gain or for some other reason, that person must be held to be accountable. And that person, if it is shown that their accusation or their allegation is baseless and without merit, there must be some form of fine. There must be a penalty. So I think in committee stage, we should insert some form of penalty for persons who wish to be mischievous and to make false allegations about others. I also think that the complaint should not be made public, so as to protect the person whom the complaint is being made about against unnecessary defamation. And I hope in committee stage that the Honourable Attorney General will take my comments into consideration. If we look also, Madam Speaker, to page 13 of the proposed bill, Section 25, subsection 1 and 2, I think that here we are stepping on the toes of the Director of Public Prosecution. And as we all are aware, the Director of Public Prosecution is a creature of the Constitution, and no person is supposed to seek to influence the DPP in no form or fashion. And you cannot require the Director of Public Prosecution under subsection 2, after he has finished his investigation, you are directing him and telling him he shall inform the Commission and the Governor General in writing about the action taken in pursuance of the report and any other relevant evidence. I think that is wrong. The Director of Public Prosecution is a creature of the Constitution, and you cannot direct him. He has no such obligation. Parliament cannot direct the DPP unless we amend the Constitution. You cannot tell the DPP he is obligated to file a report to the Governor General or to the Commission after he's finished his investigation. The other thing that I'm concerned about, Section 29, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition dealt with that, where in my humble opinion, I don't think that you should have any ministerial interference. The Minister should not have the report. I think the report should go straight to the Governor General. It's not that we don't trust the Minister, because in acts it is normal that the report goes to whichever Minister is regulating the act. But I think to have the politicians' arm's length completely out of the picture, you should send the report directly to the Governor General, and I'm sure he can send it to the Clerk to Parliament to have it tabled to Parliament. Madam Speaker, I want us to look closely at this schedule. The Schedule 1 on page 17, because this bothers me. And as I say, Madam Speaker, I am supporting the integrity in public life. I think it is very important that we pass legislation such like this. Other countries, nearly all other countries, have legislation regulating the conduct and the life of public officials who are desirous of serving in public office. But I think, in my humble opinion, this schedule is definitely too exhaustive. It is too exhaustive, and we are presuming that everybody in the country is corrupt. And that cannot be right. I thought the only people that would come up with Lester Bird, Asset, Michael Robin, Yearwood, and Gaston Brown. I didn't know that all these civil servants here are corrupt, and you're presuming that every single immigration officer, you are subjecting them and their families and their spouse and their children to file. This is an invasion of privacy. I think that definitely all members of both houses of Parliament, the House of Representatives and the Senate, all heads of departments, ministries, permanent secretaries, senior ambassadors, heads of statutory boards, yes, of corporations and deputies, they should be required. But there are some items in here on this schedule that I have a fundamental problem with. If you look at number 12, assistant secretary. An assistant secretary is probably paid under $3,000 per month. I agree, a permanent secretary and the principal assistant secretary. I don't think we should extend it to the principal assistant secretary. I think it is too wide in its scope. The schedule is too wide. You're bringing everybody into the net. You're saying everybody in Antigua is corrupt. Every single immigration officer. Look at item number 22. Chief immigration officer, yes. Deputy chief immigration officer, yes. But all other immigration officers. Why all other immigration officers? Are they dealing with collection of revenue? Are they dealing with collection of revenue? What conflict can an immigration officer have where you would require them to come and to say they have to file every single asset? You're putting them through unnecessary harassment. I think if you look at 24, I'm being constructive here. I'm saying that you've widened the net too much. All warrant officers of the Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force. No, I think all commissioned officers, the head of the army, the deputy, and so forth. But you should not extend it to all warrant officers. The Commissioner of Inland Revenue, all inland revenue officers. Presumption of guilt, presumption of corruption. Do you want to tell me every single clerk in Inland Revenue, every typist that works, one your officer, you have officers at Inland Revenue that are only making $1,500 a month, that they are required under this act to file a statement of their personal. Do you realize, gentlemen, the seriousness is a serious piece of legislation? Why would you want to enshrine in this legislation all officers of Inland Revenue? And I think, Madam Speaker, and when I was in government and the junior Minister of Finance, I advocated that once you're a custom officer or you are working for Inland Revenue, all your revenue collection officers should be taken out of the regular civil service and be placed into a special revenue collection authority. Even if you have to come to Parliament and pass legislation, pay them well to prevent those custom officers from going and making warrants and joining and colluding with business people to under-invoice. But you've got to pay them well. Put them on a bonus system. Give them a decent and reasonable salary. Give them proper training and give them a decent and reasonable salary where they can be dignified, where you don't encourage them to go and collude with the business people downtown and to under-invoice and to rip off the treasury. I'm saying that I advocated, it did not happen, but you are government now. You must do it. I'm putting the proposal before the Honourable Minister of Finance. And I'm saying, I only suggested it, I'm one man. I'm saying that I'm suggesting to the Honourable House that it will be an excellent measure if you were to take all your custom officers, all your inland revenue officers, all your treasury staff, and put them on the special revenue collection authority. Pay them a reasonable salary, decent salaries, and put them on a reward bonus system. But you are government now. You do it.
After 28 years.
Members of boards, Madam Speaker. This is a disincentive. Or if you tell me the chairman of statutory authority, or the chairman and the deputy chairman, you won't tell me every single board? Yes, there are certain important, vital boards in the country that deal, like the financial sector, the IFSA. That is an important board. You may have conflicts there with banking and gaming and so forth. There are serious implications when you serve on a board like that. I can understand that. Maybe the Antigua Public Utilities Authority board, but not every single board, not every single committee. You are going to subject every single board member. I know the Honourable Wilmer Daniel, the member for St. Philip South, don't agree with this. Because he told me so, Madam Speaker. He do not agree with this. He don't, and he want me to come here today and to argue against it.